What made you go full Karen mode? When I walked into Bright Horizons daycare to pick up my 4-year-old daughter Emma, I knew something was wrong. She was sitting alone in a corner with tear stains on her cheeks and hadn't eaten any of her lunch. I checked the daily report sheet they're supposed to fill out. There were huge gaps everywhere, like obvious missing information where her diaper changes and feeding times should have been documented. Emma still wasn't potty trained fully yet. I walked up to the teacher, Ms. Rodriguez. Hey, why is Emma's diaper still wet from this morning? And why didn't she eat lunch? I asked politely. She barely looked up from her phone. We're really busy today. She'll get changed soon. That answer didn't feel right to me. I went back to check the parent communication board they keep near the entrance. I looked through the last few days and noticed the same pattern of neglect. Missed diaper changes consistently. I tried talking to the assistant director, this woman named Patricia, who acted like she was doing me a favor by listening. When I brought up the missed care, she sighed dramatically at me. Look, sweetie, you need to calm down and stop micromanaging. We know how to take care of children here. This is a licensed facility with trained professionals. That's when something inside me snapped completely. I don't usually make scenes in public, but hearing someone dismiss my child's basic needs when I'm paying them $200 a week, absolutely not. I want to see all of her care logs and daily reports from this week, I said firmly. Patricia crossed her arms defensively. That's not how this works. You can't just demand to see confidential facility records. We have privacy policies and procedures you need to follow first. Fine. If they wanted to be difficult, I could be difficult too. I decided to stay in that daycare for the rest of the afternoon and observe everything they did with the children. At snack time, they gave Emma a juice box that had expired 2 weeks ago. When Emma asked to use the bathroom because she felt an accident coming, I watched 2 different staff members ignore her completely while they chatted about their weekend plans. She ended up wetting herself right there. I marched straight to the main office and demanded to speak to whoever was actually in charge of this facility. The director, some lady named Mrs. Campbell, came out looking annoyed and inconvenienced. What seems to be the issue here? She asked in that fake professional voice. The issue is my daughter has been sitting in a soaking wet diaper for hours, and your staff is ignoring basic childcare responsibilities. She gave me this patronizing smile. Ma'am, I understand you're concerned, but we have state-approved protocols here. You can't just make accusations without understanding our systematic approach to childcare. That's when I completely lost it. I pulled out my phone and called the state licensing board right there in her office. Hi, I need to report child neglect at Bright Horizons daycare. Multiple children are being ignored, and my daughter has been in a wet diaper for 6 hours. Mrs. Campbell's face went completely white with panic. Ma'am, there's absolutely no need to involve state authorities. Let's discuss this rationally and work out any misunderstandings we might have. But I was done discussing anything with them. The licensing inspector showed up within 2 hours. When they checked Emma's diaper, it was completely soaked through to her clothes. Her skin was red and irritated from sitting in wetness all day long. I had my phone out documenting everything: the expired snacks, the dirty changing table, the daily report sheets with obvious gaps in care documentation. I photographed every single violation I could find. By evening, the facility was facing a formal investigation, and 3 staff members had been placed on immediate suspension pending the outcome of the state review process. Mrs. Campbell tried one final time to convince me this was all just a big misunderstanding. Mrs. Davis, perhaps we got off on the wrong foot here. Emma has been a wonderful student with us for 8 months. You're absolutely right, I said calmly. She has been here for 8 months, which means this neglect has probably been going on much longer than just today. How many other children have you been ignoring? That afternoon, I pulled Emma from the daycare permanently and enrolled her somewhere else. She was confused about the change, but when I explained that the new school would take better care of her, she seemed relieved. A few weeks later, the state board launched a comprehensive investigation into Bright Horizons. Turns out Emma wasn't the only child being neglected. They found similar problems affecting at least 12 other families who had been afraid to speak up. The facility ended up losing their state license and had to shut down permanently. Several parents thanked me for speaking up when they were too intimidated to advocate for their own children's basic needs and safety.